What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers are active in trying to find various trades. You've heard links to guys like Jeremy Grant, Brook Lopez. I'm sure there's going to be other news, other reports coming out. Lakers are kind of waiting on the dominoes to fall in place, right? You got Klay Thompson. What's he going to do? Where's he going to sign? The NBA's kind of just been on a standstill. There have been moves, right? Like KCP going to Orlando, I think is huge for the Lakers because that really kind of weakens the Denver Nuggets, who have been a team that's really had our number and given us trouble. But reports that have kind of came out, the Lakers not necessarily actively trying to acquire, just kind of touched base and kind of keeping a gauge and an eye on, are Zach Lavine and Trae Young. I want to talk about Zach Lavine in this video because I actually think he may end up being the best option for the Lakers. And he right now is being looked at, based on word, right, is that he's kind of like the break glass in case of emergency. So the Lakers aren't able to pull anything off over here. He's a guy that you can acquire because you got to clear off some roster spots. You could unload several guys, get him, kind of kill two birds with one stone. But the big thing is they are willing to attach a first. So based on reports, they are shopping Zach Lavine to teams and saying, we'll give you Zach Lavine and a first-round pick if you take Zach Lavine. So basically, they're doing everything they can to unload Zach Lavine, and nobody's biting thus far because, again, like there's only so many teams that he makes sense for. There's only so many teams that can even go trade for him, and there's 50 other options right now that make more sense for various teams that he's not going anywhere, right? So teams aren't running to the door to go get Zach Lavine and a first, right? They're looking at it as he's going to be there. And if he's not, oh well, right? If he ends up getting taken by somebody else, well then guess what? That means that one of these guys is probably coming to us. So he is kind of looked at right now by most teams as worst case scenario, we can go get Zach Lavine. But to me, again, he may be the best option, right? Hear me out for a second, right? Let's say Klay Thompson does come and sign for the MLE. Now, if the Lakers have to trade for him, then that kind of throws a rock in things, unless, it depends on how much he's getting paid, right? But if he's, say, getting $18 million or something like that, then it's But let's say Klay does come for the MLE, right? I don't hate the idea of going and trading for Zach Lavine and having basically I would probably go with a Max Christie at that point, right, for starting lineup. But something like Zach Lavine, Max Christie, Klay Thompson, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and you basically just need that initiator. Yeah, it'd put pressure on LeBron to have to step up and be the point guard in spots, but I think you can get away with it. And Zach Lavine has shown the ability, especially recently before he went and had surgery with the Chicago Bulls. He actually was doing a very good job of setting and organizing the offense, right? Go watch, before the Detroit news came out and he ended up, I'm going to go get surgery. He came in because, remember, Kobe White really emerged and then they had DeMar DeRozan and everything. He was kind of fitting in. He was getting 7 to 8 assists a game. He was just playing within the offense, getting guys set up and getting guys going. Also, JJ Redick really wants to run a free-flowing offense, right? So he wants to run something to where it's not just LeBron dominating the basketball and getting guys going. You can always default to that if you need to, but they want constant ball movement and pressure. Imagine Zach Lavine coming off of pin downs and all. My God, along with Klay Thompson, the offense would be nearly unstoppable. Right? The question would be defense. That's why I wouldn't want to start Reeves. I'd want to go with Max Christie because Max Christie gives you that 3-and-D, shoots 39% from three-point range on catch-and-shoot threes, can defend multiple positions. Zach Lavine isn't as bad defensively as people try to make him out to be, especially when he's committed and locked in on that side. And I do think with the Lakers, I think he would be re-energized and kind of yeah, let's go. So if he buys in on the defensive side, he has the athleticism, the size, the tools to be at least a serviceable defender, right? He doesn't have to be elite, right? But you have him just being that point of attack and applying pressure. You got Max Christie, Klay Thompson. Yeah, he's not the defender he once was, but he's still serviceable, right? So then you have that, and you have Anthony Davis to clean everything up with LeBron James. I don't think that that's a terrible idea, right? Like, again, you'd probably be one of, if not the best offenses in the league, because you'd have several guys. So, again, you have Max Christie who can shoot 40% from three. Klay Thompson's a 40% three-point shooter. If LeBron can maintain 40% from three-point shooter, and Zach Lavine's 38 to 40%. He's like 43%, 44%, might even be more than that on catch-and-shoot threes. He's actually really good on catch-and-shoot threes. So, again, like, you would have three-point shooting. You'd have several guys that could just go get you a bucket. Right? Like Max Christie has shown the ability to go make his own shots. Zach Lavine is a guy that can go get his own buckets. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson can even kind of, very slowly kind of get by the defender and get to the basket on occasion, right? Like the offense, I think, would just be unfair. Right, with all the various actions and sets that you can run, and you take so much pressure off of everybody, and you just kind of have, like, how Boston, it was like every night somebody else could go off. You weren't so Tatum and Brown reliant. It's kind of how I'd feel about that. Like on any night, Klay could just go and drop 25 to 30. Any night, Zach could go get 25 to 30 or more. I mean, he had a 50-point game last season. He only played like 23 games, right? LeBron obviously could do LeBron things. AD could go do AD things. And you could still have multiple guys, right? Like, still go sign Chris Paul if you wanted to, right? You got to go get a center, figure out, obviously a backup center. You need to get somebody. But you'd have like Christian Wood. You'd have Austin Reeves off the bench. Right, like, you'd be in good shape. You'd be basically 9 deep. You'd be super excellent on the top-heavy side of things. I don't hate the idea. I really don't. Right? Like, to kind of give you... because Klay, the beauty of Klay is he is so good off ball, and he doesn't need the ball to be effective, right? So you can have LeBron, AD, and Zach Lavine kind of be the three guys that are kind of just your bucket getters, and then just Klay being that constant roaming threat that you can always kick out to, and he's just going to knock it down. And all the attention that LeBron, AD, and Zach Lavine would, apply to opposing teams, and the pressure that he could add to these teams. Like, I just look at it and just go, man, like, the offense would be great. The question would just be defensively, right? Like, how good can Max Christie hold up on the defensive side? How good can Zach Lavine, like, if he buys in? Again, Zach Lavine has had excellent seasons and stretches where he's been very good defensively. He has it in him. It's just buying into it. But also, if he's not, he's also pretty much always been the first or second guy everywhere he's been. If he went to a team like the Lakers, he'd be like your third or fourth guy at that point, right? And then to me, it's like, if he doesn't have as much pressure, maybe he can use a little more energy and make a little better effort on the defense side of things. Not to mention, like I said, he'd be a lot more energized. Same thing with Klay. Right? Like, you'd have these guys really be kind of locked in and focused, and I think that they'd want to win. Right? And again, like, yes, defense is a big theme, obviously, still. Right? Like, you look at Dallas, how did they get there? They got there on the back of their defense. You look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. How do they beat Denver? Back of the defense. But, like, as long as you have, like, an elite offense, right? Like, because the Lakers' problem wasn't defense. The Lakers' problem was offense. And you're still going to be good enough defensively. Like, I don't think that, like, even with that lineup, I don't think the Lakers are going to be so bad defensively that it's like, the offense doesn't matter, right? I think that they would be good enough. Are they a top 5 defense? Probably not. But could they be in the top, 12 maybe? I think so. Right? Like, and then on top of that, if you're in the top 3 to 5 offensively, if not better, like, you're a contender now. You're probably going to win. I mean, the Boston Celtics were the worst pick and roll defensive team in the league. In the postseason, that is. I don't know so much about the regular season, but postseason. And they just cruised to a championship. Right? Dallas had the best defense the entire postseason. And it was like they weren't even there. Because, again, Boston was so good. You think of something like Klay, Max Christie, or you could even go Gabe Vincent. I mean, you have your flexibility. You have your options. Honestly, I would almost trade Reeves and keep Jared Vanderbilt at that point, right? Go like Lavine, because you have so much firepower, like Lavine, Klay, Vando, LeBron, and AD. Tough. And you could just have, like, Vando be in the dunker spot and, like, have him basically, like, be the screen and roll man and be the lob threat and stuff like that. Like, again, there's flexibility, there's options there. I think it's a little bit unlikely just because I think Zach Lavine's probably going to be the last option, but he kind of solves a lot of what the Lakers need, obviously on court, but also off court, right? Because the Lakers are probably going to need to clear off like 3 or 4. They're going to need probably a 3 to 4 player for one swap, right? So they can go get a center and go get some of these other pieces, right? And be able to sign Clay or DeMar or whomever, right? Like, so to me, it's like, if you can kind of like use Zach Lavine to get that, sign a Clay, I mean, even those two alone added to LeBron and AD is better than what we had now. Like, you'd be better immediately with just those two added to LeBron and AD. It's not even counting like whatever else, like everything you keep and then everything that you know, if you go pull off another move or two or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I like the idea. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of like, yeah, go get Zach Lavine and Klay Thompson? If Klay doesn't come, I still wouldn't hate the idea of like DeMar and Lavine, because you could still, like, Lavine's so good off ball, and then DeMar could just go be a bucket getter. Right? I don't hate that idea either, but again, just kind of a thought. Maybe we'll save that for another video. But anyway, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.